it's Tash from Foxes and Brown Bears Tarot, and today I'm doing a video response to Mixtress Ray called Not My Tarot Aesthetic. And the idea of this is looking at decks in your collection that you really resonate with, that you've connected with, but at face value wouldn't really fit your style or your particular artistic aesthetic. Okay, so let's begin. So the first one really for me is the Deviant Moon Tarot. Now this one I had seen walkthroughs, I'd seen it on a number of channels, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. I was just like, that's a bit creepy. I'm not that keen on creepy. But it turns out that I eventually just bought it because it started growing on me. And then when I had it in my hands, I'm like, oh my God, this deck is amazing. Like I guess the added level of meanings that you can find in it. And it turns out that when I actually look through it, I don't even find it creepy anymore. I actually find it just speaks really well. It works very well. And I absolutely love it. And it just feels so nice in my hands. And it just gives just that slight tweak to readings. Just that extra little layer. And in particular, because I did buy the big book by Patrick Valenza, which explains some of the artwork and just gives you a lot more background into the cards. And I find that having read that, I've got a much clearer understanding of his vision, and it just given me such depth with this deck. And it's one of the decks that reads really well for me and really speaks to me. And yet, if you'd asked me a year ago, or probably more than a year ago now, would you have liked this deck? Would you buy this deck? I would have gone, nah, not my thing at all. And now it's one of my favorites. I just really, really love it. So that's the Deviant Moon Tarot, borderless edition by Patrick Valenza. And yeah, absolutely gorgeous a deck, but not my aesthetic at face value. All right, another one that I've actually had for years is the Bohemian Animal Tarot, written by Scott Alexander King, illustrated by Sharon McLeod. This is by Rockpool Publishing. And I bought this probably good 10 years ago now at Mind Body Spirit Festival. It was really popular at the time. I was like, oh, cool, some people buying it. That looks kind of cool. I like animals. And then I kind of took it home and I'm like, you know what? I don't even know why I bought this, because I don't like anthropomorphized animals. I really don't like animals in clothing doing human style things. It's not my thing at all. It really, really isn't. And I ended up just not using it really. And probably about 6 months ago, I pulled it back out and kind of looked through it, and you're like, oh wow, I actually really like this. And I've put it back in order because I was actually going to do a walkthrough, but then I've decided not to because heaps of walkthroughs have actually come on other people's channels lately, and yeah, unnecessary really. But it is a really beautiful deck in the end. And I don't know, there's just something about it. And look, I still don't like animals in clothes. I really don't. But I was going to cull this one for my collection. And I decided, no, I actually resonate with this deck. I actually think it's really cute. And I think I'll miss it if, the cardstock does clump together. It's the only thing I don't like about this deck. But I would like it. It's kind of whimsical and cute, and it does rename some of the cards, like the Hermit is a solitary. But, you know, I like it. I mean, justice is consequences. It's just quite deep. It's really cute. And yeah, I actually in the end, I'm very glad I didn't eliminate this on my collection. So I think I'd miss it if I didn't have it. So yes, and just show you some of the suits. Really beautiful, but not my aesthetic. And this is the only deck in my collection that features anthropomorphized animals, because they're not my thing at all. So yes, so that is the Bohemian Animal Tarot. And I have to say, before I put it away, I mean, the book's pretty amazing. Like, it gives you so much information. It really, really does. And it's great. I've really enjoyed studying this book as well. So yes. So that is that one. All right. Another one is the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. Now, I bought the Lightseers, absolutely adored it. And then I was like, yeah, I probably won't buy this one. But I saw a few walkthroughs and they looked pretty amazing. And so I bought it on a whim, just completely on a whim. And then I got it into my hands and I was like, oh, I kind of regret buying it, because this kind of collage style is not my thing. It looks very fashion magazine-y to me. It's not my style at all. It really, really isn't. And my first flip through of this deck, I thought, oh, why did I buy it? It's not my thing. Like, stuff like this, it's just not my aesthetic at all. I'm very much a nature-based deck person, and this just wasn't my thing at all. And I was a little disappointed, to be honest. And I put it away. And then it came up in rotation. I'm like, well, I'm going to give this one a go, because I'm not going to eliminate a deck from my collection without giving it a good go. And oh my gosh, it reads so well. Yeah, this is another reason I don't love it in terms of aesthetics. I don't like the landscape cards, but it reads so beautifully. And this card, oh my God, I love this card so much. And it just is beautiful, and it's got such depth, like this card, amazing. And it reads beautifully. And for that reason, like, it's become a firm favorite. And if I need a really accurate reading, I go to this one. I really do, because it works. I can't even explain how it works. It's just amazing. It really resonates with me. It works very well with me. And I can't imagine not having this one, though. Even though at face value, this is just not my style at all. So yes, although it does have foxes there. All right, so that's the Muse Tarot. Beautiful, beautiful deck. I love it so much. And another one I've added is one that in some part is my aesthetic, but then in other parts is not. This is the White Sage Tarot. It's a cute little one in a tin by Teresa Hutch. And it is very chakra based. And now I saw a walkthrough of this, actually on Lisa Papas's channel. And I love the backs, they're so cute. And then I loved the animals. So the majors are all animals and the courts are animals. And I love an animal deck. I absolutely love animal decks. I mean, look at that King of Cups, right? And just gorgeous, gorgeous animals. And oh, look at that. So I thought, wow, you know, I really like that. I mean, that's my aesthetic. But what had originally put me off was the pips. And this is not my aesthetic at all. I don't really like pip decks. And I found that this sort of card just doesn't read well for me generally. I have resisted them in the past. But for some reason, this deck's amazing. I actually took it away when I went away for a weekend. And it's the only deck I took because it's in a tin. And I thought, you know what, it's my chance to give it a good go. And oh my gosh, it read beautifully. And I could read these pips. And I think part of it is because it does have these chakra connections. And so you read whole other levels of meaning into it. But at face value, like if someone had said to me really a year ago that I was going to get a pip deck, I would have gone, no way. I am not getting a pip deck because it's just not my thing. I can't see myself using it. I can't see myself enjoying a pip deck, and because it's just not my aesthetic at all. But having said that, this is amazing, and I'm very glad it's in my collection. So yes, so that's the White Sage Tarot. So they're the tarot decks. I have thrown 2 oracle decks in here as well in this video because it is my video, and that's because I think there's 2 decks in particular that illustrate this point too. So the first one is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. Now, when I first saw this on Rockpool's website, I wasn't enthused. I remember pulling up the images and thinking, oh no, they look kind of creepy and morbid and not very colorful. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to buy that. I'm just not going to buy it. And then I saw some walkthroughs. I was like, oh, that looks kind of prettier than I thought. And the red gilding was very attractive. Sorry. And I like the ideas. I really like the wording on the cards. And it was very inexpensive, so I bought it. And it has turned out to be one of my gentlest decks. So even though I thought it was going to be creepy and dark and morbid, it's actually turned out to be the very opposite. And when I need a hug, when I need anything like that, this deck's amazing. And it's really funny because it just goes to show that you can't really judge a deck at face value. That it may have a very different energy from what appears on the surface. And I don't know if that's true for everybody. Maybe certain decks, certain words, certain books resonate with certain people in a particular way. But this deck has shown me that, you know, I probably wouldn't have bought it solely on the artwork, even though the artwork has grown on me and I'm really enjoying it. Just because I like colorful decks. I like color. I like animals. I like more nature-based stuff. But I love it. Absolutely adore this deck. All right. And then finally, a deck that everyone's seen about 1,000,000 times on my channel is the Medicine Cards by Jamie Sams and David Carson. I no longer have the box. And these illustrated by Angela Wernicke. And these cards are not my aesthetic at all. First of all, the backs. Oh my gosh, right? Not my aesthetic. And even though, I mean, now I love it, right? I love this artwork. I love the little drawings of the animals. But really, as an animal deck, it doesn't leap out at you as the most beautiful thing ever. And it's not my aesthetic. It really isn't. I don't like the 2-color thing that's going on. I don't like the red borders and then surrounded by white borders. And I like the concept. But, I mean, the animal features in such a tiny way on the cards. Even though they're so beautiful. Look at that one. So, yes, it's not my aesthetic at all. But if anyone's watched my channel ever before, this is my all-time favorite deck. This is the deck that if I had to take one deck with me, this would be it. Even over tarot, over anything, this is it. This is the deck I would take with me if I could only have one deck forever, because it is so deep and so beautiful and so spot on in its messages that I could not imagine not having it in my life. And part of that is the book. The book is incredible. It's for each animal, it's got a nice little verse. So for elk, your antlers reach for the sun. Show me that strength and stamina are one. And if I pulled this card, for example, I'd actually photograph that. And whenever I felt, I don't know, any sort of painful emotion that day or stress or anything, I would read that again. And that becomes sort of a little mantra for me for the day. Because, I mean, even just show me that strength and stamina are one, okay? And then it'll have the name of the animal, it will have the keywords, the stamina, and then it tells you a nice medicine story about elk, and then it tells you what the medicine actually teaches you, you know, so pacing yourself will increase your stamina. And so for this one, it would be, I'd be reading it and I'd pick out elements like that. So I'd read the story, get into the mentality of that animal, and then I'd say, well, yes, I'm going to pace myself, right? And elk medicine people may not be the first ones to arrive at a goal. They always arrive without getting burnt out. And so I like that. So I remember that. So whenever I'm stressed and feel rushed, I'll be like, no, pace yourself, right? It's very much about that. And so yes, and it will have different meanings. So, you know, here, telling yourself to see the company of your own gender for a while, to realign yourself, may need a sense of community, and look at how you're holding up physically to the stresses in your life. And then it also gives you a reverse meaning, which I will read too, because sometimes I encompass it all in one. So I don't do upright or reverse. I kind of read it all as one, and then we'll remember the key points throughout the day. So this is, you know, be careful of undue stress levels, and things like that. Okay, so yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful book that is so, so helpful and always just gives me exactly what I need. And so this just goes to show, I've seen people say that the backs put them off, the artwork puts them off, but you know what? This is an outstanding, extraordinary deck. And just goes to show, not my aesthetic, but it is beautiful anyway. So anyway, thank you for watching. That's my VR to Mixtress Ray. Hope that has been enjoyable, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.